Women's fashions are more than fabric, lace, and ribbons. In the clothing women wore and in the stories of their owners, we can trace the patterns of their culture, including how society viewed women and, in turn, how they viewed themselves. If you listen closely, the fabrics, lace, and ribbons can speak to you. This series explores the clothing and textile collection from Grinnell Historical Museum, a small museum located in Grinnell, Iowa. Children's clothing has always been a combination of practicality and fashion. Children in the past, as children today, were hard on everyday clothes, and few of those remain. So children's clothing that survived and are found in museum collections today were usually made for special occasions. The item of children's clothing featured here certainly fits that category. Glancha Maud Coutts was the daughter of William and Eva Coutts. Her father was the editor of the Enterprise, a newspaper in Kellogg, Iowa, just west of Grinnell. He was a well-respected and prosperous member of the community who had immigrated to Iowa from Scotland in 1875. 20 years later, he had a successful newspaper and a loving family. But tragedy struck when little Glancha was 8 years old and contracted spinal meningitis, an infection of the fluid and membranes around the brain and spinal cord. It was virtually untreatable in 1895 and could be fatal within 24 hours. Now, of course, it can be treated with antibiotics, but there was no such cure at that time, and little Glancha died. Her obituary described her sweet nature and brave fight in these words: Glancha was indeed a bright, vivacious, sweet little girl and was almost worshipped by her fond parents. She has been sick but a short time. All that loving hands and skilled physicians could do was done that she might recover and remain with us, but all to no avail, for the good Father had called Glancha to the heavenly home. This dress was made for Glancha Coutts. It is handsome and very fancy, created entirely of white cotton lace with a muslin lining. It probably would have included a silk sash around the waist, but if you look closely, there is a mystery about it. There are no closures in the back opening, no buttons and buttonholes, no hooks and eyes, usually the last things to be added to a dress to complete it. There is no evidence that they were there and removed. The dress is simply unfinished, kind of like little Glancha's life, unfinished. Perhaps this was a dress made for a special little girl, for a special occasion, and suddenly, sadly, it was no longer needed.